Hi guys, my name is Michelle, but you can call me Mimi. Welcome to Mimi Unfiltered TV. So Twitter is currently in shambles right now, and it's mainly the Black Americans from New Orleans versus Africans, but in particular Zulus. Okay, so this all started when this video made the timeline, so let's check it out. So as you can see, there's people on a float and it says African Zulu. So when you see African Zulu, there's certain things that you're expecting to see. But no, we see people dressed like soldiers with weird face paint, wearing Afro wigs. So when I first saw this, the first thing that jumped into my mind was Black Pete, which is a character that the Dutch love to celebrate by putting on black paint and Afro wigs and dressing the way that they're dressed. So while the dressing may be different between the Black Pete people and these African Zulus, the thing that is similar is the black paint and the low-cost Afro wigs. So I was thinking, hey, well, is there like racist white people in America that are mocking African Zulus? Like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so then I was looking for more videos, trying to understand what the hell this African Zulu thing is. And lo and behold, these are black people. These are American black people who are calling themselves African Zulu while wearing low-cost Afro wigs and painting their skin black. Last I checked, these are the people that had to deal with blackface. So basically, blackface started during slavery times, and so the white people had theaters and plays that they would go to. So some of the theaters and plays they went to had a character that was black, and that black person would usually be a slave. So instead of hiring a black person to depict that character, they would just get a white actor to put on black paint and to wear Afro wig and act like the worst version of a slave that you could imagine. So Black Americans had to deal with that. And every single time when the Black Pete pictures go viral, they always talk about, oh, wow, this is so racist. I can't believe these people are painting themselves black, putting on Afro wigs and, acting black. No, that's not good. That's racist. But then the same people don't see anything wrong with this. Wild. So I was like, okay, no, let me understand, like, how did this happen? Like, where is this coming from? Because this was my first time seeing it, and apparently the African Zulu float is something that occurs every single year at the Mardi Gras. Okay, so this basically all stemmed from a vaudeville skit. So vaudeville is a type of show that used to be put on in the 1800s and the early 1900s for white people in America. So it was a variety show. So there would be singers, actors, dancers, magicians, and things of that nature. So there was once a vaudeville show, and there was a play by the name of There Never Was and Never Will Be a King Like Me that was played. And it was about a Zulu king. So since this was during racist America and it was for a racist American crowd, they decided to depict the Zulus in the worst way that you could think of. So they were wearing grass skirts and they painted their skin black and that random face paint that I've never ever seen before, but they swear is African warrior paint. But anyway, so there was a group of black people that saw this show at the vaudeville and they decided to adopt it because to them it was like, okay, you're trying to make fun of the Zulu culture, but we're gonna take it and we're gonna make it something positive. Kind of like what they did with the N-word, because they say that the N-word was used to bring them down, but they took that word and they flipped it and reversed it to make it something that was uplifting, like, yo, what's up, my nigga? Like, that's my nigga, that type of thing. Okay, so of course, when this tweet went viral, a lot of South Africans were surprised. They were like, hey, bro, I don't see a single Zulu in this video, and yet the float says African Zulu. Like, what the hell is going on here? But the Black Americans were like, no, guys, calm down. This is our culture. This is New Orleans culture, baby. This is our Zulus. We're not talking about y'all Zulus. We're talking about our Zulus. But then that didn't make sense to me because I'm like, your floats literally say African Zulu. So you are talking about the Zulus in Africa that exist, by the way. These are not made up people. These are people in existence with a deep, rich history. That didn't make sense to me. But anyway, they were saying, no, these are our Zulus. We're not talking about you guys. These are our Zulus. You guys just don't understand. We have our own culture, blah, 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 blah. So, of course, the South Africans were like, no, guys, no, this does not make any sense. Like, okay, fine, we understand. You saw it in a skit and, the white man was making fun of us and you guys are like, no, how can you make fun of our African brothers? We understand that. But don't you see that you're just continuing the legacy of depicting Africans in a negative, stereotypical light? That's the part that they don't understand. That they're just continuing it on. Like the white people don't do it anymore because they know that the blacks in New Orleans are going to keep doing it. Yeah, so basically Twitter's in shambles with, the Americans and the South Africans going at it. And it's not even just Americans and South Africans now. Now, in terms of the American side, all the other blacks are like, hey, no, we're not getting involved in this. You black people in New Orleans, you guys are going to need to explain this on your own. So the black New Orleans people are going back and forth like, no, guys, you guys don't understand. This is our culture, blah, blah, blah. And on the South African side, it's not just the Zulus now. It's become the whole of Africa. As Africans are like, no, not on our watch. How dare you guys depict Zulus in this light as if they don't exist? Because you guys are treating them as if they're some mystical made-up tradition and culture. And that's the thing I love about us Africans. We stick together, even though we have our own little problems. Like, okay, yes, like, especially on Twitter, it's usually South Africa versus Nigeria versus Zimbabwe. Those are the top 3 countries that go at it. But when the other people from outside Africa try coming for one of us, we will all band together and stick up for each other. So I saw Nigerians speaking up for Zulus. And we all know that South Africa and Nigeria have probably the biggest rivalry in all of Africa. And I also remember there was a time when Tiffany Haddish was surprised that there were grocery stores in Zimbabwe. I saw a lot of South African people defending Zimbabwe on some, hey, boo, how can your American ass come here with that mindset as if we don't have supermarkets in Africa? So that's the one thing I love about us Africans. When it's time to stick behind each other, we are going to do exactly that. So anyway, this is my conclusion about this whole thing. So on one side, I understand where the Black American people in New Orleans are coming from. I understand that they saw a negative depiction of their African brothers and sisters and were like, no, we're going to take this, we're going to flip it, and we're going to celebrate it. And I can also see how them not being connected to their African history has left them in a position where they are trying to look for a connection, and them doing this is their way of being connected to Africa. I can understand that part. But at the same time, I feel like they do themselves a disservice by not listening to Zulu people and where they're coming from, and by also not doing research. Because if you research the slave trade, most of the Black Americans were taken from West Africa, not Southern Africa. So it doesn't really make sense for them to be like, we're just connected to the Zulus because our people are from Africa. Like, yes, your people are from Africa, but they're not necessarily from Southern Africa. Your people are from Western Africa. And I feel like there's a lack of education where that is involved. Because if they actually took the time to understand Africa as a whole, and to understand that Africa has different countries, and within those different countries, there are different traditions, there are different tribes, there are different cultures. I feel like if they had that understanding, they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do this. It's because they think of Africa as one large country. So they don't want to take the time to understand that, no, Africa is made up of this, that, and the other. For them, if they say African Zulus, they're really talking about the whole of Africa. They don't have that thing in their mind like, no, Zulus are a tribe within South Africa. And the rest of Africa has thousands of other tribes with their own traditions and customs. It's also that lack of education that is making them treat these Zulus as if they're some made-up tribe that they saw in a play. Like, yes, you may have first seen them in a play, but these people are very much real. Zulu is a very real tribe and culture in South Africa. These people exist. So when they come to you and they say, this depiction of us is not accurate and it's very offensive. for Black Americans to turn around and be like, okay, this is our culture. We're not talking about y'all Zulus, we're talking about our Zulus, is very ignorant. Because I promise you, if we Africans had an American parade where we were crip walking, you know, eating chicken and watermelon and twerking and things of that nature and being like, oh, we're the Black Americans, they would have a problem with that. They would have a problem with that. And the fact that they don't see that they're just continuing what the white man set up is very strange, because these are the same people that will call out racism every single way they go. They're the same people that have a problem with white people wearing braids, for crying out loud. If they see a white person wearing braids, it will ruin their whole day. But they don't see how this culture of theirs is actually racist towards the Zulu kingdom. I also think the issue here is that Black Americans think they're the center of the universe. They find it so difficult to wrap their heads around the fact that they are not the only group of Black people in this world. So yes, while I do see how Black American people in New Orleans don't really see that this is a bad thing, I just wish that they would take the time to be like, you know what? Let's listen to what the Zulu people are saying. The very real Zulu people that exist in Africa. Let's listen to what they're saying. If they're saying that they do not like this depiction of them, maybe we should just listen. Anyway, guys, did you see this on Twitter? Did you see this anywhere else? What do you think about this crazy, random, weird parade that they have in New Orleans? And do you agree with me that all of this is just based on a lack of education on the Black Americans' part, because they are not educated enough on the different tribes and traditions in Africa? So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe for more content. Ciao.